Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India. Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Namaste. Welcome to the 14th session of this course Yoga and Positive Psychology for Managing Career and Life. Today we are going to look at very important aspect of the intervention, that is food. If you recall, in the last session we discussed about three pillars of good health. Those are nutrition, that is ahar, sleep or swapno, brahmacharya or self-control. We also discussed 8 limbs of yoga: yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. If you look at these 8 limbs, yam, niyam are psychosocial interventions, asan and pranayam are psychophysical interventions, pratyahar is also mostly a psychological intervention which has some remnants at the physical level. Dharana, dhyan, samadhi are predominantly psychological and spiritual interventions. So, based on these insights of Ayurveda and notion of self and 8 limbs of yoga, so we have identified a set of interventions which we are going to look at in this course. So, on the Annamaya Kosh we are going to look at ahar and asanas as predominant interventions. On the Pranamaya Kosh we will discuss pranayam. For Manomaya Kosh based intervention we will look at yam, niyam, chitta prasad, managing negative emotions, how to use the positive psychology and yoga for managing negative emotions. We will also look at pratyahar, prati ahar, that is enjoying within, going within for the true enjoyment. At Vijnanamaya Kosh, the interventions we are going to discuss are meaning and purpose in life, practice of karma yoga, dharana and dhyan, and Anandamaya Kosh has the interventions like dhyan and samadhi. We are not going to discuss samadhi in this course, but we are going to have discussion up to the level of dhyan. Different quadrants of good life are summarized in these 4 aspects: ahar, vihar, achar, vichar. These are the 2 sets of the life experiences or life activity, are also used as the reflection of the basic quadrants of good life or healthy life that naturally has implication on success in the career. If I have healthy body and mind, naturally I will be able to perform best in my career. So, the 4 quadrants of managing self and career can also be summarized in the form of ahar, vihar, achar and vichar. Ahar is food, vihar is dwelling, with whom we hang out, where we go, what kind of enjoyment we pursue, what are the things which we enjoy. These are different aspects of ahar. Achar is, these are the different aspects of vihar. Achar is behavior. What should be our behavior? our behavior also determines quality of our life, and foundation of all this is vichar, thoughts. So, other than the three pillars which we discussed in the previous session, that is nidra, brahmacharya and ahar, these four quadrant can also referred as a quick heuristic to look at whether I am leading my life towards the nishreyas, towards the preyas or towards the shreyas. You might recall, shreyas is that path which is wholesome, which is good in the long run, and preyas is that path which looks very exciting, alluring or sometimes tempting in the beginning, but long term result of that path is not wholesome, not joyful for us and for the people around us. So, this heuristic can also give us insight whether am I pursuing the path of shreyas or path of preyas. Today's session is primarily about food. Food in the yogic tradition and Ayurvedic tradition is not only source of energy, it is not only a means to nurture our physical body. Food in our tradition has an emotional, spiritual and social significance as well. That is why in our tradition we human beings are not supposed to indulge into bhakshan, not just mere act of eating. The prasad is the ultimate form of food. Prasad is that which is prepared with the reverence, that which is taken after sharing with others, and that which is first offered to the universal being, and from there we take our share, that is prasad. So, the ideal of the food in this tradition is not bhakshan, but taking prasadam. The spiritual significance of food is very beautifully reflected in the Bhrigu in the Taittiriya Upanishad. The story in the Taittiriya Upanishad goes that there is a very bright disciple Bhrigu and his father is Varun. Bhrigu apparently completed his education, came back home, and Varun the father asked him, how was it? And Bhrigu said, that was wonderful, I have learned lot of things. And then Varun asked, have you learned something after knowing which nothing is left to be known? That made Bhrigu little perturbed, because he said that this kind of topic did not occur, after knowing which nothing is left to be known. And then the Varun explains that in our tradition, in our family, people are called Brahman, the people who understand, who have experienced the Brahman, the ultimate reality, and also you also must know that, then only you will be the worthy of progeny of the ancestor who were Brahmagyani in our family. So, Bhrigu became a disciple to his own father, asked him to direct him on the path of self-realization or Brahma Gyan, and father said to him that go and follow yamas and niyamas, do tapa, and with the tapa you will get insight. So, the first insight Bhrigu got after the tapas, after the rigorous life and rigorous thinking, that is reflected in this mantra, which says that annam brahmeti vyajanat annad bhavet khalvimani bhutani jayante annen jatani jivanti. So, annam brahmeti vyajanat, I know Ann as Brahma. Anyad bhet khalvidani bhutani, because through the Ann only all bhutas, all organisms originate. Annen jatani jivanti, and they are able to sustain their life only with the Ann. So, that was his first insight. So, this is also a sutra where the notion of Panchakosha is established. Human self is nothing but the encased aspect of Brahman, and that encased is of Anna, of Man, of Vigyan, of Prana. So, we discussed about the Panchakosha model of self earlier. This is the sutra, from there the origin of Panchakosha model happens, and An is identified as the first layer of self. Physical body, we all know, is made up of An. So, naturally that is accepted as the first layer of self. Bhragu actually went on doing tapas and keep on coming with the new insight, and that is how the other layers of the self are identified in this Upanishad. We are going to talk about those other insights in the later sessions. Coming back to our discussion with the food, there is a clear understanding and appreciation in the Vedic literature that Anna, what we are eating, is result of the whole cosmic system operating in certain way. So, the food on my plate is not only my earning or my catch. Food in my plate is given by the universal order. It is universal order through which food is made available to me, and that is beautifully captured in the Bhojan mantra. I learned this Bhojan mantra in my school in Saraswati Shishu Mandir, and this Bhojan mantra goes like Om Yantu Nadiyo Varshantu Parjanya Supitpala Oshadiyo Bhavantu Annavatam Odanvatam Mamikshavatam Esham Raja Bhoyasana Odan Mudbruvati Parmeshtheva Esha Yadodana Parmave Mainam Shriyang Mayati. May the rivers flow and clouds give rain. That is the first source of Anna. May the plants yield good harvest. Then the plant, it is only through the rivers and through the clouds plants get nourishment and they give good harvest. So, may I become the king of all those having plenty of food, boiled rice, curd and milk. Food is praiseworthy. Odan Mudbravati. This food is verily Brahman, the creator. This will lead to greatest prosperity in the form of health and wealth. So, before taking food, we invoke gratitude to the whole universe, because it is because of the river, clouds, rains, plants and people working to harvest all that we have got food in our plate. Spiritual aspect of food is also reflected in Bhagavad Gita, where Shri Krishna explained that Brahmarpanam Brahmavi Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. This ladle used for offering ghee in the yajna is Brahma. Offering is Brahma. It is being offered by Brahma in the fire of Brahma. The destination to be attained through this Brahma Karma Samadhi is also Brahma. Aham Vaishva Naro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Pranapana Samayukta Pachamyanyam Chaturvidham. That is the next verse in the Bhojan Mantra, which says that it is I who take form of fire of digestion in the stomach of all living beings and combine with the incoming and outgoing breath to digest and assimilate the four kinds of food. And after that, in the Bhojan Mantra, it is said Om Pranaya Swaha, Om Apanaya Swaha, Om Vyanaya Swaha, Om Udanaya Swaha, Om Samanaya Swaha. Pran, Apan, Vyan, Udan, Saman, these are the 5 dimensions of prana. We are going to talk about Pranamaya Kosh. We have already have some discussion about the Pranamaya Kosh. We can have some interventions at Pranamaya Kosh, and there again we are going to talk about these 5 types of pranas. What this shloka suggests is that it is the universal power, it is the universal power which is behind the power of digestion of food, that is Vaishwanar Agni. So, this is the reflection of notion of food in yogic tradition and in the Indian tradition. Let us look at what are the predominant factors which govern the digestion and assimilation of food. So, that is captured in the concept called Ashta Ahar Vidhi Vishesh. Ashta meaning 8, Ahar is food, Vidhi means method, Vishesh means specific method. So, what are those factors? Those factors are Prakriti, Karan, Samyog, Rashi, Desh, Kal, Upayog, Samastha and Upayokta. Prakriti, what is the quality and characteristic of food? Karan, how the food is being processed. Samyog, how the combination or mixing is done. Rashi, in how much quantity that food is taken. Desh, in which habitat that food is used or consumed. Kal, what time of the day, what kind of the year that food is taken. Upayog, Samstha, classical Ayurvedic rules of eating, how to sit, when to use water, when to drink water, what should be followed by what. There is an excellent beautiful protocol given in Ayurveda about what to eat, how to eat in one sitting, that is Upayog Samastha. Upayokta, the person who takes the food, because the person also has its individual agency, its own capability. So, these are the 8 factors to be considered while taking food. You can imagine, now you can see that how evolved the food science has been, the Ahar Vigyan, food science has been in the yogic tradition and in the Ayurvedic tradition. So, first is Prakriti. We discussed there are predominantly 3 types of Vikritis or Prakriti found, and all of us have all 3, having 1 or 2 dominant over other 1 or 2. These are Kapha, Vat and Pitta. Pitta is considered to be the combination of fire and water. Vat is the combination of Akash, the ether and air. Kapha is predominantly the combination of water and earth. So, Kapha governs the structure of body. Vat is like wind, it is light, cool, dry, mobile. So, it governs the movements including neurotransmitters. Pitta is hot, sharp, penetrating, volatile and oily, and this governs the digestion system. So, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Prakriti or Vikriti, they decide the kind of food person should take up. You might recall that you all were given an assessment, you were asked to take the assessment on these Prakriti, and if you have taken that, you might be having some idea what is predominant Vikriti in your body and mind. So, Vata people choose warm, nourishing cooked food, that is moist, mildly spiced, cooked with oil, so that it is lubricating and comforting. So, Vata people choose that kind of food. The diet for the Vata people must include fresh or cooked fruit, grains, dairy that are sweet in taste, sour food like lemons and limes, and salty food that are warming and moistening. One with the Vata dosh should drink warm teas regularly, preferably non-caffeinated tea, and herbal teas are great for the Vata dosha, people with the Vata dosh. People with the Pitta dosh, they need dairy products such as fresh milk, cottage cheese, cream cheese or fresh goat cheese, and these are the soothing to Pitta, but they must avoid mixing dairy and fruit. Pitta predominant people consume foods that have taste that are sweet, dairy, fresh fruit, vegetable, whole grain, not the refined sugar, but sweet, naturally sweet food. Bitter means all green except spinach. Astringent, legumes, apples, potatoes. Pitta dosha can enjoy dandelion tea regularly to cool and soothe themselves. People suffering from Kapha dosha, so they need to consume the food which taste that are balancing to kapha are fresh and dried ginger, onions and peppers that are pungent in nature, and all greens and all vegetables bitter in nature and astringent like legumes or except soya, and dried food that is good for the people suffering from kapha dosha. Kapha dosha must choose food that are dry, light and warm, and they can enjoy abundant vegetable, herbs and spices. Then comes a transformation of food. What Ayurveda says about it? Ayurveda says that transformation of food into energy is based on optimum heat energy, that is Ushma. Ushma pachati. The role of Ushma is to digest. Optimum movement of the different parts of the intestine. Vayu prakarshati, that so Vayu causes the movement in the different parts of the intestine. Mucus loosens. Kleda is called mucus, and that gives sathilya, means looseness. Lubrication gentles, and lubrication is given by ghee. Lubrication is also generated by the body itself. So, sneho mardavam jnanayati, that which does the lubrication. Sufficient time, kal pariman must be followed until one diet is out of the system. The next full diet should not be taken. Combination of above, some yoga of all these. So, the conversion of the food into energy happens with optimum heat energy, optimum movement, mucus, lubrication, sufficient time and combination of all these. What are the qualities of right food? So, right food is Agni Rakshane Aharaha, that which enhances Oj, Tej and Prana. We are going to discuss what is Oj, Tej and Prana. Aharasya Mahabheshajatvam. Ahar is also like a medicine. Ahar must be taken according to the suitability. Pathya apathya vichar. So, the quality of good quality food means that is taken after sufficient thoughts about what should be taken, what should not be taken. Ritu samya ahar, the food which is according to the season. Aharasya dehasya api pancha bhautiktvyam, means 5 elemental nature of ahar and deh. So, deh, the body is made up of 5 elements, ahar is also made up of 5 elements. There has to be a right equilibrium of these elements in ahar and these elements in the body. Dincharyam bhojanasya kala, and according to the daily routine. So, these are the qualities of right food. There are few other qualities as well given in great detail on this website of dharmawiki.org. Dharmawiki.org is our own website. This is development of one of the IIT Bombay research project, and you will see lot of these concepts are given in great detail. So, you can use this website as like notes for many of the topics, and the topics which are well developed there, very well presented there in the Dharmawiki. We have also given the reference behind those topic on those slides of the reference of that particular page of Dharmawiki. So, do's and don'ts related to diet are termed as I mentioned, pathya, do's and apathya. Although pathya changes as per the individual's prakriti, that is nature or constitution, disease, if person is suffering a particular kind of disease, region, season and bal, the strength of the person, and multiple other factors. There are few food articles that are considered as pathya in general for many, for any individual healthy or disease, like very popular food in India is khichdi, and different regions prepare those with their peculiarity or speciality, but that is like universal food. Ahar parinamam kal means the time required to complete the digestion and transformation of the food. Sufficient time must be given for food to get digested, to get assimilated before we take up the next round of diet. In order to acquire all the benefits from ahar, those benefits are longevity, strength, lustre, nourishment, growth, health and well-being. It is necessary that ahar gets completely digested. That is called prapak digestion, and transformed properly into rasa dhatu, that is called vipak digestion. So, prapak digestion is ahar gets completely digested by the intestine or the stomach and properly transformed into ras dhatu. What are the dhatus? You remember the asthi, majja, rakt, etc. We discussed about 6 type of dhatus, sorry 7. So, we discussed about 7 dhatus, which are the basic constituents of the body. How that food which is absorbed by the digestive system is transformed, is converted into different dhatu, that is called vipak digestion. Routine and diet to be according to the season. We are going to have more detail on this, and it should be also according to the dincharya, the particular time of the day. We mentioned about role of food and Agni in the form of Oj, Tej and Pran. So, Ayurveda gives immense importance to the status of Agni. Agni is believed to be the moolam, the base, the root of the life like that of Ahar. Ahar taken from outside is converted in the form of energy by Agni, and this energy is responsible for all vital functions of our body. So, Agni is critical for one's life. It is the cause of health, nourishment, strength and lustre, and that is reflected in Ojas, Tejas and Prana. These are the 3 dimensions, 3 aspects, 3 types rather of life energy. These are the subtle aspect of Vat, Pitta, Kapha. Therefore, it is clear that Agni and Ahar both impact the life equally in every aspect. So, what are these Agni? How it is reflected? It is reflected in Prana, that is the subtle aspect of Vata. It is also reflected in Tej, which is subtle aspect of Pitta. It is reflected in Ojas, which is subtle aspect of Kapha. In the balanced form, these life energies are reflected in our day to day life as well. So, when Prana is well balanced, we have creativity, adaptability, we are inspired and we are enthusiastic about some idea or some ideals. When Tej is balanced, we are confident, motivated, content and passionate about things. When Oj is balanced, we are relaxed, content, joyful and stable. When Prana is unstable, when the Prana is out of balance, we experience a lethargy, we remain unmotivated, we are possessive about things and more like clingy. When Tejas is out of balance, we are more angry, we are more critical, we are judgmental and we are aggressive. When Ojas is unbalanced, we are restless, spacey, anxious and disorganized. So, there is a time for reflection. Look at these qualities and reflect what are the things which you are experiencing in your day to day life. What the balance aspect of these life energies are experienced by you, which are mostly defining your waking experience. and then also reflect what kind of restlessness, what kind of unbalance you are experiencing in the life. You need to look at both. Some aspect must be balanced in our life, so you might be experiencing some of these things, and some aspects might be out of balance or unbalanced in the life. What is balanced aspect of your life? That is reflecting that quality of energy is well established in your personality, and those aspect of unbalanced life which you can relate to are reflection of lack of that particular kind of energy. So, am I feeling more angry? Am I more critical, more judgmental, more than what is required to be aggressive? Or am I the restless person? Am I more anxious and disorganized person? Am I more lethargic, bit unmotivated, possessive and clingy person? These are the points of reflection. Based on the reflection of the balance aspect and unbalanced aspect, we can think about what aspect of energy has to be strengthened in our personality, whether prana, tej or oj, and according to that you can choose your food. In the Dharma Wiki pages, it is very clearly explained what are the kind of food which enhances ojas, what is the kind of food which enhances tejas, what is the kind of food which enhances prana. Please have a look at it, and you set up that experiment by changing diet a bit, and then notice your experience, and with the conscious experience you can actually manage your life energies and reach to the highest level of potential possible. Let us look at another aspect of food which is deeply connected to the seasonality. And to understand the Ritucharya, that is our activities according to season, we need to understand the movement of earth around the sun in 1 year, in one revolution. So, there are two paths, Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. Uttarayan is generally starts with 14th of Jan and it reaches to the 21st of June. So, that part is called Uttarayan. Energy of sun is felt more in India and many parts of the world. Then comes Dakshinayan. That Dakshinayan means the energy keep reducing and keep reducing till the time we reach to 14th Jan. Pinnacle of Uttarayan is summer solstice, and pinnacle of the Dakshinayan is winter solstice. But earth orbit also has axial tilt, that is why the uniqueness of the seasons happen in different parts of the earth. So, in 1 year we have one Uttarayan and one Dakshinayan. Uttarayan is also called Adan Kal and Dakshinayan is called Visarga Kal. 6 months of the Uttarayan are divided into 6 ritus, that is why the term Ritucharya has come. What are those ritus? Magh, Phagan, Chaitra, Vaisakh, Jeshth, Ashadh. These are the 6 months which are in the Uttarayan Kal, and Uttarayan Kal is of 6 months, and this whole period of 6 months is divided into 2 months each, and that is why 6 ritus are identified during this time period. Similarly, during the Dakshinayan also 6 ritus are identified, and naturally each ritu is of 2 months. So, ritus during Dakshinayan Kal are Shravan, Bhadrapad, Ashwin, Kartik, Margashish and Paush. So, 3 seasons in the first part of the year during the Uttarayan is called Shishir, Vasant, Grishma. 3 seasons during the Dakshinayan are Varsha, Sharad, Hemant. So, Shishir is winter, Vasant is similar to spring, Grishma is summers, Varsha is monsoon time, the Sharad is the time between the more cold period and after the monsoon period, and Hemant is again the coldest period of time. So, these 6 ritus are there in a year. These ritus are connected to the movement of earth around the sun. Naturally, the amount of light being received by earth and all the organism varies and systematically varies across these ritus. So, that amount of light which is differently available to the different organism at different point of time naturally have impact on their anatomy and physiology. Their physiological activities are deeply governed by the intensity of the light or availability of the sun, duration of the day and night, all these things govern the physiological activities. So, this body, the human beings, their physiology is affected by ritu, and what all vanaspatis, what all organisms and food grow during this time is also governed by ritus and the movement of earth and resultant availability of the sunlight and the duration of the day, etc. So, based on this our tendencies change. So, Uttarayan indicates the ascent of sun or northward movement of the sun. In this period sun and wind are powerful, that is why it is called Adan Kal. This is the period of gradual movement of earth around sun to the position in which the rays of sun fall perpendicularly at 30° meridian of north pole on 21st every year, and that is why it is called summer solstice. The northward journey of the sun from tropic of Capricorn to tropic of the Cancer happens during this time. The sun takes away, since the amount of heat gradually increases during this time, it takes away the strength of people and cooling quality of earth. It brings increase in the tikkat, which is bitter, kashaya, which is astringent, and katu, that is pungent, rasas, taste respectively, which brings about dryness in body and reduces the strength. During Uttarayan season, as I mentioned, these winter, spring and summer occur. Similarly, Dakshinayan indicates the descent of the sun or movement of sun in southern direction. In this period the wind is not very dry, moon is more powerful than sun, and it is called a Visarga Kal. This is the period of gradual movement of earth around the sun to the position in which the rays of sun fall over 30° meridian of the south pole perpendicularly on December 21st every year, and that is why it is called winter solstice. The southward movement of sun occurs from tropic of Cancer to tropic of Capricorn. Earth becomes cool due to clouds, rains and cold winds. Unctuousness sets in the atmosphere, and the amla, the sour, the lavan, the salt, the madhur, sweet ras, they become prominent. So, the strength of person enhances during this period. And as I mentioned, during the Dakshinayan we have monsoon, autumn and late autumn. Because of this seasonality and their deep association with the plant physiology and the animal physiology and human physiology, we need to take care of our diet according to the season. And this paper of Thakkar, Chaudhary and Sarkar, they have elaborated very in great detail what should be taken, what should be the ahar during a particular season and what should be avoided in the particular season. For example, the Shishir Ritu, the winter time, jaggery, fats, edible oil, flour product, green vegetable, lasun, haritika meaning turmeric, pippali, these are good food. But during this time the cold drink, and Vata aggravating drinks like Bengal gram, or too much food having sour and bitter, that must be avoided. Puffed rice etc. also should be avoided. But then come back to the monsoon season, and there you can enjoy the old barley, rice, meat soup, sandha lavan, these things. And different from this season is Hemant, where milk and milk product can be enjoyable, and the Vata aggravating food like Bengal gram etc. must be avoided again. So, like this we need to take care of the Ritu Charya. Ritu is the first point of reference about food. What should be taken as food? Edible things are so many, but anything edible is not food, not the appropriate food, and that consciousness and that understanding must be inculcated. What contemporary knowledge says about food and mental health, because we are talking about happiness, well-being. If you look at this work of Firth and his colleagues, and this is a very comprehensive review paper. Review paper, we all know, is the one which captures lot of research studies and summarize those, identify a pattern in those. What they have suggested is the healthy fat, limited fast food, fruits and vegetable, high fiber food. These are most important and best quality of food. That has impact on the physical health as well as mental health. Insulin sensitivity, cardiovascular risk, healthy weight, all this can be achieved by having the combination of food which has healthy fat, limited fast food, fruit and vegetable and high fiber. And multiple biological pathways are there which are explained in many studies and summarized in this review paper. Good quality food also has impact on hormonal and inflammatory neural pathways as well, and because of that they also govern better mood, less stress, lower risk of illness and cognitive functioning. So, psychological and social factors are also deeply connected with food. If we take opposite of this, then it increases craving, and that increases many physiological problems, and that ultimately result into psychological problems as well. So, here comes the last and very important characteristic of food, aharasya mahabheshadattvam. Ahar is medicine. In the TED talk of Julia Ruckledge, she is very accomplished researcher, and she again in this talks gives the reference of at least epidemiological studies and many review based studies, and establishes that nutrients have deep connection with the mental health. She mentions some of the experiments where people suffering from severe anxiety and stress, when they were put on the medication and as an experiment, and some people were put on the chain nutritional supplements. They found that impact of nutritional supplements was much more and much more long lasting than the impact of medication. Naturally, that has economic benefits as well, because the nutritional supplement were coming at the fraction of the cost of the medicine used for this for these mental ailments. And she concludes that those nutritional elements which were found to have the preventive impact and in fact the curative impact on some of the mental ailments are available, their source of those nutrition is in the diet which our grandmother used to consider the diet, which is full of fruits and vegetable, high fiber, whole grain, less processed food. Certainly natural sugar but not processed sugar, and healthy food and healthy fat. So, what is in the summary we can say about what to eat? So, time tested wisdom are endorsed by the modern research as well, and that is pursued in the yoga and Ayurveda for many centuries. It says that eat seasonal and local food, because it is produced in the same ritu and part of the same climate. So, it has a harmony with your body. The where my body is, where I exist, if I eat food from that area, there is a natural harmony in that food, because that food eventually becomes part of my body. Eat freshly cooked food instead of packaged food, because the packaged food might be edible, but it may not really be the food. Packaged foods are consistently found to be not only useless, but they are found to be harmful, and many of those are found to be responsible for the increasing problem of obesity. Even in India, a large percentage of population is suffering from obesity. So, in India, and country like India is suffering from two type of problem. At one level, enough nutrition is not available. At another level, there is some part of the population is suffering from the obesity. This all is because very highly packaged foods. This is also because very high carbohydrate components and less of the macronutrient component in the diet. Food intake must be regulated by self, not by the diet plan only. Diet plan can be good indicators, but ultimately I have to exercise power on the choice of my food. Then only I can consistently choose the right food. My choice of food is a day to day matter which has to be exercised. That choice has to be exercised throughout my life. If I do not develop capacity to judge and reflect on the suitability of the food for my body, protocols or diet plans cannot help for a very long time. We are going to discuss one method, how we can develop the insight, how we can develop the interoception of the choice of right food and right amount of food. We also need to check out whether my system is stressed out because of food or because of the lack of food. Many a time our system suffer, our bodily system that suffer because it is overburdened with the food input. So, what do I do to check that? I will share one diet plan or one weight loss plan developed by the yoga master. You can follow that plan for maybe 3 days. Then you can figure out whether my system was under stress just to digest the food, or I can make the modification to unburden my system in certain way. Not weight loss, but being fitter, stronger and joyful must be the objective of food. Only weight is single and a very limited indicator of health. Other than that, our own experience of strength and our experience of joy, these are also important aspect of health, and these both are deeply connected with food. We looked at the definition of health in the beginning in the session where we discussed about the definition of health given in Ayurveda. That applies and that must be put at front of us while making the choice of food as well. Because wholesome life and wholesome living are sustainable. If we are able to eat wholesome food, we will be taking more steps to realize the wholesome life. And wholesome life and wholesome food only are the sustainable things on this planet. So, let us look at the dincharya. What aspect of the day is suitable for what kind of food? This work is awarded with the Nobel Prize, Dr. Jeffrey Hall and Michael Rojbesh and Michael Young for discoveries that explain how plants, animals, humans adapt their biological rhyme so that they are synchronized with the earth's revolution. So, circadian cycle is very well known. If we take this 12 midnight as the starting point, then 2 o'clock 2 a.m. is the deepest sleep, 4 a.m. is the lowest body temperature, 6 to 6:45 is the sharpest blood pressure rise, 7:30 to 10 is the highest alertness time, melatonin and secretion stops at 7:30, 12 noon is the best coordination time, fastest reaction time is 1:30, and greater cardiovascular efficiency is achieved around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and from the evening 6 o'clock again the high blood pressure starts and highest body temperature reaches to the 7 o'clock, and around 9 o'clock the melatonin serotonin secretion starts. So, these we know that melatonin and secretion are deeply connected to the quality of sleep, and the cycle goes on. Vat governs the nervous system, Pitta maintains digestion and metabolism, and Kapha that controls immunity and physical health, physical strength. Different parts of the day you can see the predominance of Vata, Pitta, Kapha and the nature of the circadian cycle. They are in coherence with each other. So, at the peak of the Pitta time is the midnight. From the midnight, when we move towards dawn, the Vat time comes, and Vat is, we know what it governs. So, you can see the coherence. From the dawn, from the dawn till the midday, our Kapha and Pitta aspect they increase. So, the mid of the day is the best time for getting the richest food during the day, taking action. So, you can take the best food and the highest quality and good amount of food during the midday, because that is the highest Pitta time where the digestion is best. Then gradually from the Pitta our tendency goes towards Vata, and that requires that is good for the movement, socializing, and at the dusk time our Kapha starts rising, Vata also comes down, and that is the time we need to take the last meal. If you see the circadian cycle and how the Vata, Pitta, Kapha changes during the day, there is a harmony, and Ayurveda and Yoga suggest that we should take our food according to this cycle. That constitutes the best ahar. There is no one fit for all. We need to understand our Prakriti. We need to keep under consideration the seasonality where we are residing, and accordingly we must keep making experimentation, and accordingly we must keep making the food choices. I would like to share 3 resources. One resource is in the form of this video, YouTube video, that is a diet for the weight loss based on the advice of Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev. Sadhguru Jaggi suggests that soaked peanut, white gourd, turmeric, neem, little bit of jaggery, and use of honey, banana, these are very good high pranic food. So, he defines the good quality food is that which is high pranic food, which has more prana shakti in those food. So, based on his advices given at different occasions, the creator of this video has developed a diet plan for 10 days, and she claims that it can be helpful to reduce the 10 kg of weight in 10 days without reducing our energy levels. It is up to your choice whether you want to follow that diet plan for 10 days or not. I can certainly say based on my experience, because in IIT Bombay in School of Management, I suggested this plan for my students to be followed just 3 days, and after that we collected the reaction of the students and their experience. Almost all the students said that within 3 days they experienced the energy and lightness which they have not experienced before. Many of them said that they did not have an idea that just by making some modification in the food habits, we can make so much difference to our own day to day experience. So, this is at least 3 days you all must follow, that is first resource. Second resource is coming from the great dietitian who uses Ayurvedic and the yogic wisdom in abundance in her recommendations, Rujuta Devekar. She gives a method of taking food and being self restrained and applying self control, or making the food choices and intake of the food more conscious. What she says, that whenever you are sitting for the food and when you are hungry, you imagine how much food you can eat. So, you visualize how much you are likely to eat. You keep half of that portion, half of what you imagined in your plate in the first serving. So, serve half, that is the second step. Third step is, after finishing that half, again you meditate, reflect on the body, how much you think you can eat more, and again put half of what you imagined in the plate. You eat it and repeat the process. In this way, we can develop our interoception, our capability to perceive within what is the right amount of food for me. Third resource is also coming from the Rujuta Devekar's work, the Head Start project. She talks about some diet rules. Don't start your day with the tea, coffee. Finish your dinner 3 hours before bedtime. Avoid long gaps between meals. Finish eating your meal just before you are full. Have ghee, fresh fruit, homemade chutney, pickle daily. Exercise rules are like follow a well-rounded fitness regime and progressive overload principle. These are some of the principles which everybody can follow, all of us can follow. Within 1 week we can start feeling the significant difference in our body, in our mind, in our energy systems. So, these are some of the resources you can use which are readily available as Ahar, which is our first intervention towards achieving optimum level of well-being, towards greater power in managing ourselves, which naturally has impact on managing our career.